As you may or may not know, I purchased a fiberglass 446 pack scooped hood for the 68 Charger. So in this video, we're gonna pop the hood off, pull the springs off of it, because if you leave the original springs, it's just gonna crack the hood in half. But we have a very large Mopar M1 intake manifold that sits very high, and there's no way this thing is gonna clear with a carburetor on it. So we've got to get rid of this hood and put that hood on it so we can get the clearance we need. All right, so the best way to pull the hood off is if you did it with a friend. 2 people are way better than just one. But I am here by myself and I need to get this thing going. So first thing you want to do is prop the hood up. So I have this pipe, I was using it for, it's PVC pipe. But on the Charger, we're gonna go from the bottom of the core support and prop the hood up. So basically it's securing the front of the hood, keeping it from falling once I get the bolts loose. Second thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stuff some rags underneath each corner of the car so we don't cause any damage. I mean, the car's patina, an extra scratch isn't gonna hurt anything, but we don't wanna add to it. So I'm gonna put this old towel here on this side. So I'm gonna get some WD-40 in there. I'm actually gonna tighten up the screws to get the WD-40 to go into the threads because I don't wanna strip this. Once we get it out, I'm gonna run a tap through these threads just to clean them up. Then I'm gonna pack it full of grease to slow down any corrosion. All right, the hood is free. So now that it's sitting against the firewall, pull this guy out. I'm gonna lean it over the hinges like so, get these rags off. Don't get any problems there. Then brace it against my waist. Yeah. We're gonna have to get rid of this spring because it's just too strong for a glass hood. And of course, we gotta pop those hood hinge springs off. All right, you may be asking yourself, how in the hell do you get the spring off of here? Well, I don't really remember. I'm gonna use my BFS big freaking screwdriver to help. If I can get it over that wedge. There we go. Dude, you guys gotta be super careful. You can see why I wanted to disconnect it here. That just makes sense, right? Also, there is a lot of energy in this thing, so it can really F you up if anybody's got their hands around here. So be sure if you had somebody helping you, they're clear. Doing this a little differently on this side because this hooks the opposite way. Basically, there's not a left and right spring. Springs are just the same. So on that side, the hook came from the top, and on the passenger side, the hook is going towards the bottom. Here we go. Okay. That was less scary. Put grease on the threads because WD-40 just kind of runs off and it's gone in no time. So for a more long-lasting lubricity, left the bolts somewhat loose to kind of get the hood where I want it. Snug it up just a little bit so it's not slopping all over the place, but can still be manipulated, hopefully. Gentle. Okay, I'm lifting it up and then letting the hood come back down a little bit to tighten these, the fronts. This side needs to go forward a little bit. This side's okay. Before I do that, I want to let the hood go all the way down. So I need to get this spring off of here. All right, there's a little clasp that kind of comes up from the grill frame. So I want to try to push it out of it, lean it up. On the back side, there's basically a tab that has a hole in it that the end of the spring goes into. So I'm going to twist it this way, basically getting into a narrow part of that diameter to get it to let go. But there is a hump around it, which is kind of preventing it from going that way. Okay, got it out. This front tab looks like it bent a little bit up. I don't want to bend it too much because then it'll weaken it. So I'm going to leave it like that. And then if I ever use this again for a steel hood, I'll bend it back down at that point. So now we can let the hood all the way down. Slide that forward just a hair. Looks pretty good. That's fine. I think it's the hinge that's just not letting it settle in that corner. Same here. Damn it. That side's laying flat. This side is not. All right, so I'm going to clean up the threads on the hood bolts. They're pretty rusty and they're binding in that glass hood. And I don't want that thing to get seized or strip or cross thread or anything like that in there, because that glass hood around the outside is very weak. And if these things get bound up and you go to loosen it and it's bound, it could crack the fiberglass and stuff, and you may never get the bolt out. So I'm going to destroy the hood to get it off. So I don't want to do that. By the way, the thread size on these is 5/16 18. All right, we should be good. Let's see how it fits. Oh, it's the hood hinge. Okay, and looks like we got to push this down just a hair. If we get the hood springs in here, that'll help pull it down all the way. So I think we're good. Okay, other thing we have to do is take all this off, put it on that car. This guy's so rusty, we're gonna soak it in evaporust. Bad as these look, they're coming out okay. By the way, this is used evaporust. I just keep using it over and over again. It gets ugly and dark, but it keeps working. All right, I'm gonna let that soak in evaporust overnight, 24 hours. We'll pull it out, we'll see what it looks like. All right, I de-rusted these guys as best I could, and we're gonna put it back on the fiberglass hood. So this is our latch, came off the other hood. It's kind of easy to put on. You can't really mix it up this way, won't seem right. So this straight up side is what's gonna go in the back. And then this one's gonna go to the front. These bolts. Now we've got the hood latch. I just sold my sandblaster a few months ago because I wasn't really using it. But anyways, I think the best thing to do is after you get most of the rust off with evaporust is to sandblast it. For now, I just want to get this thing back on the road. I don't want to overcomplicate things. We could always pull this off, sandblast it later, and then re-clear coat it. I'm not going to over tighten everything because again, this is fiberglass. So I'm just going to snug it down. I've got my measurement here. Roughly from the edge of this latch to the center line of the hole is about 3 3/4 of an inch, which is pretty much putting this right at the base of this L bracket. This is you're gonna have room to go like this. This is double walled. Like I said before, these AAR hoods are really nice. But you know, the screws that go in here are sheet metal screws. And with metal, you can bend metal. So if we try to screw this in here into fiberglass, I think it's gonna potentially crack the fiberglass. So I'm gonna put a pilot hole in here and be careful not to go all the way through the top. It's about 99 thousandths. I think it was a number 39 drill. Get that going. Very easy. Probably could have gone with a little bit larger drill. I didn't want to go too big and then not
have any bite the surface of a fiberglass, you know. You want it to bite so that it stays put. Okay, and it looks like they got their distance right. We don't have the screws protruding into the top surface. Okay, pretty happy with that. All right, the alignment's not quite right. So where they put their threaded holes for the latch is a little bit this way. So we're gonna have to move the latch down here, that direction. Hopefully we've got enough slop in this thing to move. Not very much to left and right. It's mostly up and down. All right, I'm gonna try leaning it a hair like that and push it all the way this way. See if we can get it to close. Bam. All right, let's see how it shuts. Perfect. All right. Yeah, the latch is too high. I need to shove it down farther. We don't have a spring on there anymore, so you have to, you know, push the lever in the grill, pull it up, and pull your lever here. Shove it all the way down, and let's try without leaning it. Hey, not bad. All right, let's go over it all. I mean, it's kind of cool they put these threaded you know, nuts inside of it or whatever. We're able to move our factory latch over. That rivet that's holding it on is pushing this down a little bit. That part kind of sucks. Not a big deal to screw these guys in. You, like I said, drill a pilot hole first so you don't crack the fiberglass. We got all this in okay. Right now the hood is sitting high. I'm probably gonna have to run these down and get the rubbers for that. Same thing on this side to get the hood to sit farther down. But the latch right now is all the way down as far as I can go, and I've got it slid this way as much as possible. You're kind of at their mercy where they put this. So if they don't put this just in the right spot, in fact, maybe there's a little slop in here. I'm gonna loosen this up and try to slide it this way a little bit so it goes into the latch better. But it seems okay, but this might, it just feels like it's still a little bit high. So if it is, the only way to fix it is I'm gonna have to pull this guy off and slot it a little bit farther on the top so I can push it down farther. But it's close enough for now, it won't fly up. I mean, I'd still give an A+ to AAR for these hoods. I mean, they're really nice. All right, I'm really happy with the AAR hood. We're able to bolt it onto the hinges just fine. All our factory hardware is attaching to the hood just fine and working. You might have to move the latch down a little bit and those bump stops once I put them on. Hood is latched. See, probably should go down a little bit farther. See here, it's sitting high, but it's hitting those bump stops, the metal part. So we're gonna have to drive those down farther. And I was originally planning on putting hood pins in the hood, but I don't need to because we can use all our stock hardware and latches and stuff. I don't even need to put hood pins in it, so I'm not going to. Still need to buy the lightweight springs, get those ordered, and get those on the hood. Yeah, this is good enough for the hood. Time to move on to the next. So I went to Lowe's and I bought these springs. It's a 1 inch by 8.5 inch by 120 thousandths. Safe working load, 13 pounds. So I took the spring off of my Cornet, my 68 Cornet, which also has a glass hood. And this was the closest thing in terms of length and extension, just feel. So I'm gonna be very careful. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the 68 Charger and gently close the hood to see if these springs are soft enough for it. If they're too stiff, I'm not gonna push it because you could break the hood and crack it, and that hood's too expensive to take chances with. It's good so far.
All right, beautiful, it works. So those springs are similar to the ones on my Coronet. I've ordered these springs from VFR fiberglass before, and I think they charged me a pretty penny. Probably, I'm gonna say 25 bucks, maybe it was 40 bucks, I don't remember. But these Lowe's springs were about 6 bucks a piece. So considerably cheaper. It feels good, it's not, it doesn't feel like strong tension. If the hood was difficult to lower at all, and you can see it flexing, you don't want to use those springs. But these are great. Boom, holds up on its own. Something I should point out, you can tell these springs are not designed for Mopar hoods or any other hoods for that matter. Anyway, it works. You can see just gently lowering the hood. It's not in any kind of bind. If those springs were too strong, it would be very difficult to lower the hood. You might even see the hood flex right in here. So this is good. It kind of looks like this line's gonna clear. So I'm gonna take it from here. I might have to cut more. Sucks we gotta cut into the structure, but there's no way around it, I don't think. I don't know. It looks like it's hitting on this side and this side. Maybe I'll just, before I cut into this part, because it goes across, and I think it'll weaken it if I cut too much. So I'd like to keep this edge here, because if I keep this edge, I think it'll stay stronger. And maybe just trim a little bit in here. So I think what I'll do, because I know it's hitting like right in here. So let me try trimming that before I get all crazy here. Unfortunately, we gotta trim a little more right through here. So we're probably gonna have to take this whole basically ledge off. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. That should give us plenty of clearance. I think it'll be stronger with the radius coming in this deep rather than just like cutting in this edge off, because then I think that would be flexible, you know. I just think it's gonna be stronger with the arch cut in there. So we're gonna go with that. All right, guys, you guys are going in again. All right, that looks good. I'm happy with that. We could call the hood done. We had to trim out quite a bit. As you recall, this went straight across. We cut all of that out. Now it clears the air cleaner. I'm happy about having an air cleaner. Little by little, every day, a little bit of progress is going a long way. Okay, so just in case you have one of these 68, 69 fiberglass AAR hoods, you want an idea of where you're gonna have to start cutting, this is where I would start. If you happen to be running this particular air cleaner, it is 14 inches in diameter. As far as body line, I would go off of this body line right here, where it basically bifurcates from this ridge, not this one, which has its own ridge, comes off of this ridge, comes over, and that's pretty much right about where you want to cut it. I'm just going to give you an approximate depth from where it was. I think I cut out about 4 inches. It's an AAR hood. It's really nice quality. I
I really liked how the hinges bolt up to the hood. It's not cheap, it was about $1,000 bucks. Is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it.